This is a round loom knitting basics video. Be sure to check out our complete project videos as well as our free downloadable patterns on AmericanKnitter.com. In this video we'll be learning the most basic stitch, the E-wrap or E-stitch, and how to cast on. First we'll need to cast on, and to do that we will tie a slip knot, take a piece of yarn, and wrap it around 2 fingers. Then pull a strand of yarn through the loop and cinch it tight. We'll place this loop on the first peg. The peg just to the right of the tie-off peg is the first peg. Place the slip knot over the first peg and cinch it tight. Then cut off the end strand, leaving about a 1-inch length. We are now ready to wrap the loom. Take the strand of yarn and count the slip knot as the first loop of yarn. You should hold the yarn with moderate tension, not too tight and not too loose. Wrap each peg counterclockwise as you work around the loom in a clockwise direction. If you're pulling all the elasticity out of the yarn, you're pulling too tight. If you wrap each peg and they're loosely hanging on or falling off, then it's too loose. Once you've come to the last peg on the loom, we'll temporarily tie off the yarn by slipping the loop on the side peg. Next, we'll push the yarn down on each peg all the way around the loom to make room for another row of yarn. With the yarn pushed down all the way around the loom, we'll take the working yarn off of the side peg and begin wrapping a second row of yarn all the way around the loom. Wrapping each peg counterclockwise is called the E-wrap or the E-stitch. We'll continue wrapping and pushing the yarn down until we have a total of 3 rows of yarn on the loom. With 3 rows of yarn on the loom, we'll tie off the working yarn on the side peg, and then we'll begin to pick. Place the pick underneath the bottom row of yarn and pull it up and over the top of each peg. Here's a closer view of the process. Place the pick under the bottom row of yarn and pull it up and over the top of the peg. Continue picking the bottom strand of yarn from each peg all the way around the loom, and we'll be ready for the next step. Once you've picked the last peg, it's time to push the yarn down each peg all the way around the loom. We will now add another row of yarn to the loom. This will give us 3 rows of yarn on each peg. Typically when working on a project, every time you have 3 rows of yarn, it's time to pick. When you have 2 rows of yarn, it's time to E-wrap another row, unless otherwise specified. And that's the basics of the E-wrap or the E-stitch. Thank you for watching. We hope this was helpful. If it was, please click the like button on the page, and if you want more round loom videos and projects, click subscribe.